Welcome back to the InboundREM Whiteboard Thursday episode. And today what we're going to talk about is 5 lead generation habits for superstars. I've been a career salesperson, 17 to 54. You do the math and how long that is. And in that time, I have both been close to and been part of the very vaunted top 10%. Some of the sales forces I've been on have been as deep and big as thousands of salespeople. And one thing that I've noticed is that you break salespeople up into types. Now, my favorite type, because it's the most common, is the salesperson that always goes, I'm just a closer. I don't do lead generation. I don't want to do lead generation. I suppose I could if I wanted to, but it's a waste of time, or I could use my time better, collectively closing deals. And there's a lot of truth to that, a lot of great business models around that, a lot of truth to that. Now, those people there's probably quite a few of you that fall into that category, and I'm sure that you're wildly successful or that you're successful to some degree. That doesn't change the fact that myself and others who fall into this, once you have a respect for the lead generation process, it changes your career, your life. Because what if you could be a closer and have the ability to self-generate a lead and close it all in a very short period of time? And lead generation skills are exactly like that. They're things that every top 1%er absolutely needs to have. I guarantee you that all the people that you know in real estate, such as Ryan Serhant, Jade Mills, Joyce Ray, they all still know how to generate their own leads and close them. Okay, which makes this relevant to you. So what tactics make a lead generation superstar? I'm not talking average, I'm talking fantastic, great, amazing. Number one on the list is time. I do this, everybody does this, that is truly exceptional, is you set aside some time. Now, we're gonna get into method, practice, mastery, and strategy a little bit later into this episode, but number one, time. It doesn't matter what you're doing. If I use video to generate leads, and religiously, whether I feel like it or not, I have 2 time slots in my calendar every single week set aside for video and podcast production, which is how I do my current lead generation. And that's a slow week. On weeks when I'm really motivated, I'll do something where I sit down in front of a desk and do some deep research on the competitor and do a review. Now, I haven't done that very much lately, I'm sloughing off. But the things that I've set aside, great lead generators will always set aside anywhere from a few hours to a couple days of their calendar for nothing but lead generation, and then treat that time the way it should be treated, which is, this is sales time. I'm getting paid, not directly, to do this video, but I am getting paid. I will be paid for this video. So if you've got to treat your time in that way, with that level of seriousness, I'm going to set aside this time and nothing gets in between it. Okay? Between you and that time. Number 2, method. Okay, method is more about what type of lead generation works for you, because this is an oftentimes confusing subject. Over the course of my career, I've done every lead generation strategy I think that is possible to do. I've done seminars, I've done email campaigns, I've done door knocking, I've done phone calling, I've done TV commercials, I've done internet commercials, I've done radio, I'm pretty sure I've done everything. Every medium, every type. Now, most people are not like me. You don't have all of that experience behind you in every single type of marketing. But most of you have a background or things that you're more comfortable with. I'll give you an example. Let's say if you've never been in sales and you're just getting into sales now in real estate, and you thought for some reason that leads were going to be handed to you. There's a common misconception. So how do you generate leads on your own? Well, most people would drift into social media. Why? Because most people are already posting on social media. They're doing updates. It's the lowest resistance into a method that they can apply for lead generation. So if your method was social media and you looked at number 1, it would be you set aside some time you never ever move, and you do the method, updates about yourself, things like that. You do what you know. All right. Method, though, is about, like, just like anything else, once you practice does make perfect. So, and it is here on the list, but you must have some methods that you feel more comfortable with. Now, currently I'm doing video because honestly, I'm tired of cold calling. I'm not going to cold call probably ever again in my career. I don't need to. As an inbound marketer, we've done pretty well with that. I do take the sales calls myself, though, because most of the things that are going to be on this list, I practice. Like, I really do, because they're just, it's good to have and exercise these skills. So having a thing that you can do well, like craft a great email, understand tagging of social media posts well enough to make your method, your number 2 method, work well for you. Understanding a social media platform, if you have a method, but now you need a specific, you drill this method thing down into a platform such as LinkedIn. All right, number 3, practice. Practice does make perfect. Practice, practice, practice. Practice, if there's any one thing that people lose sight over because it seems daunting, and it is in some ways mind-numbing. But practice is absolutely, it is the only secret of success that I have, really. When I decided I wanted to do whiteboard videos, I hadn't done a video type like this in ages, and the last time I did it, I was running a whole bunch of call centers, and we did like 15 takes to do a little training tutorial. It was many, many years ago. So to say that I'm going to do whiteboards, like, I knew it would take me probably about 100 of them to get pretty good at it, to understand what everybody wanted to watch, how long they should be, what they should be about. Practice makes perfect. So once you have the method, do the practice. Actually, and I don't care. I tell everybody this all the time, even though everybody's like, oh, it's going to diminish your brand. I'm like, you know what? I know my subjects. I'm going to talk about them. And hopefully some people get some value. And if for some reason I have some videos that are better than others, okay, so be it. It is in the pursuit of perfection we lose practice. Practice to me is way more important than perfection, because through practice you eventually find perfection. You do a video 10,000 times, and practice for me, by the way, which is going to move into mastery, but practice is in the art of getting so good at something that you do it automatically. That's really what practice is about. So when we're talking about whatever your method is, send out 10,000 emails. And this is mastery, by the way. Send out 10,000 emails so that you can be a master. Do 10,000 videos so that you can be a master. Maybe 10,000 is a lot. That would take us longer than Freya and I have a lifetime for. But we can do 100. That's a few years worth of doing them once a week. And honestly, that's about right. That's about right to get really, really good at it, to understand exactly what people want to see and hear. You read all the comments on the stuff that you've already done. You hear the rebuttal, like the objections or the concerns or the needs or the wants. And then what you do is you add those into your process, which is part of practice. And then you go, hey, I have gotten to the point that nobody's saying anything new to me when I cold call them, when I door knock. When I do this, I can answer every single objection. I've got a steady and reliable form of production. And now we get into mastery. Mastery is where you go, all right, I have mastered this type of marketing. I know exactly what my numbers are. I can door knock on 100 doors, and I know that I'll get 3 lukewarm leads, 1 good one, and that over the course of 2 weeks, one of the good ones will come to, will turn into a transaction. So 2 weeks worth of door knocking, and the time slot that I've set aside for it will yield me 4 highly qualified leads. 1 will close, a whole bunch of non-qualifieds, but I will add them into practice and process. I will add them back into my CRM, the lower qualified ones, and sometime in my lead generation time that I've set aside every week without fail, I will call those people back. I will turn some of my door knocking into some cold calling, or, maybe you're an in-person person. I'll cycle through those doors. I'll drive through those neighborhoods and knock on the doors that were lukewarm leads and see if I can find people back at the house. Mastery. And now here's the interesting thing about mastery. And this is what really accepts the 1% from the top 0.01%. Okay? Because if you have a strategy, let's just say that you have a mastery of something, like let's call it video. And right now, InboundREM has 3 or 4 lead generation processes. And the minute that I master one, right here, I move on to mastering another. And then I try to put mastery into autopilot. Now, this is an interesting subject because every time, everywhere, everything I've ever done, even if you're just a salesperson who's a contractor, I try to explain this. And this has been the one thing that people have never really understood. Mastery leads to the opportunity for teaching and training. And once you're able to train, because if you know a subject like the back of your hand, that's the time that you put somebody right by your side and you get them to do a lot of this for you. Like, even if you're just a salesperson, hire an assistant. And then what you do is you teach them the mastery of the lead process that you already have, and then you put them to it. Door knocking, video, whatever it is, right? You teach, train, and have them assume it. And then guess what? The strategy and the real powerhouses are people that then say, now I'm going to take the time that I've already got set aside that I no longer have to do because I've gotten all the way down to mastery and I've taught and trained somebody else how to master it, and they're on this path where they're going to have to practice it and get really good at it, but they have the basic tools for mastery, and eventually they'll get there. So what do? Well, you learn something new. Another marketing method. The average great real estate agent should have at least 3 sources of leads. Okay? Like, whether or not it's like a paid lead source would be number 1. Email marketing could be number 2, and that could be paid lead source. Blogging could be number 3. Your qualification for sources is they actually have to generate you leads, like referrals. Most great digital strategists for lead generation usually have 5 or 6 sources of leads, but a lot of them are very infrequent. Okay? You really want to focus on a lot of different funnels, and you want to make each funnel stand alone. That's strategy. You want the funnel, if you might spend a few years building up each one of these. I'm going to give you guys one more case study, one more analogy, and hopefully he won't mind mentioning him by name because I'm going to promote him. There's a gentleman that I've done no business with, but his name is Benjamin Lang, and he's a really well-pedigreed agent who's worked with all of the greats, coaches, everything. And he is using a strategy of a digital flywheel, okay, which is where you do email and then you capture and send out, when somebody responds to that email, you then text them, all using an AI agent, okay? It's an AI flywheel. And he has said that in specific, it is taking quite a little bit of time, but that he has a flywheel that works. So for those of you who are in Michigan, I strongly recommend that you look him up and send him some business. This is a guy that understands AI and how it's being used. And not only does he understand it, he's been on it for years, which is where I think that strategy and mastery come in. It's where you're always pushing the envelope, looking for something new to add into your overall wheel, because despite the fact that he has a working flywheel, we're talking about something new to him. Now, I won't reveal what that is, but it is something that we would provide. So you have time, method, practice, mastery, strategy. These are the lead generation habits for superstars, not tactics. That's different. This is habits. All right? Thank you so much for tuning in. I've been Robert Newman. Give me a thumbs up if I did a good job, and if I did a bad job, don't give me a thumbs down. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, I hope you'll check out my website. I hope you'll check me out. Have a great day. Never fails, Freya. She's choking. She always chokes. It is never... She doesn't choke in general, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. She just is choking when I do videos. Always just when I do videos.